Installation of the new Intel Core i7 processor and DBX-B thermal solution is a straightforward process with some key differences from other desktop integrations. First, unpack and identify the parts. The Intel Core i7 processor. The DBX-B thermal solution assembly with removable fan shroud. And the backplate. You will also need a long number 2 Phillips screwdriver. The first step of the integration is the processor installation. To prepare the socket for the processor, the pick-and-place cap needs to be removed. First, open the socket locking lever by pushing the end of the lever down and out to release it from the locking tab. Lift the lever all the way up to free the locking cover. To open the locking cover, push down on the small tab at the rear to raise the cover enough to grab and open the cover fully. With the locking cover open, grasp the pick-and-place cap by the 2 finger tabs and gently lift the cap straight up and off the socket. Try not to lift the cap at an angle, as this may damage the socket contacts. With the cap removed, the processor can be installed. Hold the processor by the edges, careful not to touch the contact pads on the underside. Locate the pin 1 indicator, the small gold triangle on the processor, and align that mark with the black pin 1 indicator on the socket. With the processor lined up with the socket, carefully lower the processor straight down into the socket. Don't slide or force it in. With the processor correctly seated, lower the locking cap over the processor. Then lower the locking lever, making sure the bend in the locking lever is on top of the locking cap tab. Then push the locking handle down and under the locking tab to finish securing the processor in the socket. Next, the backplate needs to be installed to the underside of the motherboard. Remove the backing tape off the 2 adhesive strips on the backplate. Turn the motherboard over, and with the adhesive strips facing the motherboard, line up the 4 screw risers on the backplate with the 4 holes surrounding the processor socket. Push the backplate against the motherboard until the 4 screw risers protrude through the holes and the adhesive strips hold the backplate in place. Turn the motherboard back over. Included in the box is a single application of thermal interface material. Apply the entire amount to the center of the processor heat spreader. Before installing the DBX-B thermal solution assembly, remove the fan shroud by gently prying off one side and pulling it free. Then, remove the plastic protectant sheet from the bottom of the thermal solution copper block. With the fan facing the front of the PC, lower the thermal solution assembly down on the processor, lining up the 4 mounting feet with the screw risers of the backplate. Using a long number 2 Phillips screwdriver, tighten the 4 mounting screws in a crossing pattern until all 4 screws are tight. With the thermal solution assembly securely in place, reinstall the fan shroud. Finally, plug the fan power connector into the CPU fan power header on the motherboard. This completes the installation of the DBX-B thermal solution.